Heather and I canned these dilly beans 2 weeks ago. They're so juicy, delicious, it's like eating a pickle. If you want to learn how to make dilly beans, keep watching. Hi, and welcome to the channel Cooking with the Tachnas. Today we're going to do dilly beans. It's not just old any dilly bean. This is the Franchek's dilly bean recipe from my grandma Franchek, and it's been passed around for generations. This is really good. You can make dilly beans any old way you want and put different vegetables in it, but we have a specific way we're gonna do it. So what do we have in front of us, Heather?
So first you have to boil together 3 cups of water, 3 cups of distilled white vinegar, and 4 tablespoons of pickling salt. You might have some left over when you're done, but that's way easier to deal with than if you have to make more after you fill the jars and find you're short.
Okay, this is the vinegar.
And prior to even starting any of this, actually, you have to sterilize your pint jars in a gigantic canning, what is that? Pot. Gigantic canning pot.
And I already pre-washed all of my beans, and I cut the tips off where they grow from, but I left that.
These are beans from our garden, so we're very proud of this. And these are also jalapenos that we've also grown. We did not grow the carrots or the garlic or the onion, and we got these from the local garden at one of the elementary schools. These are dill heads.
Okay.
So we're gonna get that going,
This
and
is
then we're
ready.
gonna stuff our jars.
Yes.
How long does that boil for?
Until it just boils. Okay.
All right, let's stuff these suckers. So the recipe says to put all of these ingredients in first, and then you put your beans in flat. So you'll see what we mean here in a second. So I'm gonna set this to the side.
Why don't I put these in and you start stuffing them with beans and I'll help you.
Deal.
Okay. All right, here we go. 1 jalapeno. This.
1 piece of garlic.
1 carrot. 1 chunk. I don't know if we need all of this, right? Maybe just break
Whatever
it
you
up.
want.
And then I cut up the dill heads. You can use regular dill if you want. There.
There.
Just throw some in.
Okay.
That's perfect.
So you put them in straight like this. So you want to lay it flat to do it. And you really want to stuff them in there because there's a lot.
I love these. These are so good. And we're going to process these. But you can also just take your jars and put them in the fridge and they'll last that way. They won't last as long as processing them.
Right, if you can them, you can have them all winter.
Now the recipe does say 3 pounds of beans for 4 pint jars. So this is 3 pounds of beans. I did weigh it. And it looks like we're gonna have a lot.
Yeah, we're gonna have way more beans than we have jars.
Well, we can hold on to the beans and then we can show how to make
Regular green
green beans for canning next week, so those don't get too old.
So we love having green beans during the winter time. Fresh green beans out of your garden, can them, and it tastes just like you just picked them. So they're delicious. So once you put them into the boiling canning pot, they're gonna boil for about 25 minutes with the lid on. And we also have that canning pot full of other pint jars that are empty so that when they're boiling, they're not moving around and smashing into each other, because then they break.
Heather, go ahead and ask me what the chopsticks are for.
I was just gonna say, you're probably wondering what the chopsticks are for.
The chopsticks are for when we put the liquid into the pints. We're gonna take the chopsticks and poke it in, and it's gonna get all the air bubbles out. Or most of them anyway. We don't want air bubbles in your jars.
And why don't you want air bubbles in your jars?
I have no idea.
You should look that up and
Maybe
put
I
it
should.
at the bottom of the screen.
Why do you think we should?
I think it has to do with the seal. But I'm making that up because I also don't know why. I just know you're supposed to stick the thing in there, twirl it around.
Yeah, get all the air bubbles out. So, if you know the answer, why do you need to get air bubbles out? Please put it in the comments section. Love to know. Love to hear from you.
All right,
Okay,
it's almost ready.
perfect.
Oh, you don't want to throw that final pepper in? Just chuck it in.
Okay.
Give it to one of them. There
I
you
think
go.
that's good. That's plenty. That's 5.
Plenty.
Wow, we have.
You know, there's more space.
Not exactly sure why it said.
Me either. And it was for pint jars? Are you sure it wasn't for quart jars?
Pint. Pretty sure. Okay, our brining solution just came to a boil. I turned it off. And I'm going to pour it in this measuring cup that has a really nice spout to it so we don't make a mess.
So we're going to dump this in to within a 1/2 inch of the top. And then we take a wet paper towel and we go around the edge of it to make sure there's nothing left on there that will mess with the seal. Perfect.
Get these air bubbles. You just have to stab it. Just work it in there. Give it a wiggle wiggle.
Hand them over to you.
Right on. Get this over there.
One.
What I like to do is I just tighten it and then I give it a little turn back. I used to boil the lids, but I heard that that can ruin the seal if you boil these lids, clean them. So I just wash them with some soap and water. So if you're on the East Coast or sea level, this processes for about 20 minutes. Since we're Colorado Springs and we're about 6,000 or so feet, we have to give it an extra few minutes. So we're going to process these for 25 minutes. So that is it. That is how you make Grandma Franchek's dilly beans. So when can we eat them?
In a few days. It's best to let them sit for a little bit in the fridge or in your pantry and let the juices really soak into the vegetables.
Right. So if you process them like we are, they can last up to a year.
Yep.
In the closet. You can enjoy them all year round. So thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe, like, and ring that bell for future notifications.
Have a great day.